Yo, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the ITZ Podcast. It is your boy, B. Foster. Brian Foster is in the building. I'm with my girl, Chantel. What's happening, Shine?
Hello. I'm interested to hear people discuss today's topic, but I'm here.
Are you ready to discuss today's topic? You fall in this demographic now.
Do I? I guess I technically do.
How old are you?
None of you.
You old enough to know that you found love after 40, though, correct?
That's true.
Right.
I did.
Okay, so then I want to hear your story, too. Don't come out here acting shy. And we got a panel of folks that are on the line right now that are ready to talk. Wait a minute, hold on. We're having trouble streaming to you. Did we see this?
I see them. I'm going to try to finish this.
All right, don't worry about that. We got... don't worry about Instagram. We got some people on the line that are ready to have this conversation, but we want to play this short video for you real quick while we get it all shared out to different groups, and then we'll bring everybody in.
All right, I'm finally with you.
For future videos. Now, when I talk about the three things that older guys are looking for in a woman, the first two are completely backed by data, and then the third one is backed by my personal experience having coached many men on how to get there and flirt and meet you. Yes, you. See, before I was a dating coach for women, I actually used to coach men, and a lot of my clients happened to be in that age range, 40s, 50s, and 60s. So let's jump right into it. The first thing that men over 40 are looking for is intelligence. The online dating site called Zoosk actually did a complete analysis of over 600,000 online dating profiles created by men, and what they did is scan these profiles looking for different trigger words, and what they found is that men, as they get older, they use words such as I'm looking for a smart woman or I'm looking for an intelligent woman. They care more about that as they get older. And it makes sense. If you are an intelligent guy, you want to be with someone on the same intellectual level as you are. And you probably feel the exact same way as an intelligent woman yourself. The second quality that guys over 40 are really looking for is a nurturing woman. Men in their 40s want someone who's kind, who's caring, who's soft, who can ultimately just be a best friend. And I think this is because as you get older, the relationship is just less so focused on sexual chemistry, and friendship becomes kind of the cornerstone of the partnership between the two of you. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that people don't want sex, and sex isn't great in your 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond, certainly.
Thanks.
But it just means that I think people become more pragmatic as they're getting older, and they realize that 99% of the time that you spend with your partner is spent not having sex, okay? And it is spent as a friend and enjoying your time together. And men just naturally are looking for that nurturing, kind, caring woman that they can spend time with. And finally, the third quality that men are looking for, and this is based on my own personal experience having coached men in the past, the third quality is youthfulness. Now, I know what you're thinking. I'm not saying that you need to be young in order to be youthful. Being youthful is just a mindset. It is a type of energy that you bring to the table, bring to the relationship, bring to the conversation. And if you can come to a conversation or a date with that exuberant, incredible, youthful energy where you're curious, you're excited to see him, you're excited to get to know him further, these are the types of qualities men are really looking for in a woman. Because most guys who are in their 40s, 50s, and beyond, just like you, they're probably going on a lot of dates. And a lot of women who are in that age group tend to be a little bit more jaded. They tend to be very serious daters. They go into the date in that interview mode. And if you can differentiate yourself by bringing that youthful, excited, curious energy to the table, I assure you, men will be deeply attracted to you. So I want to hear from you in the comments below. What quality are you most attracted?
Yo, so I'm going to start it over. I don't think anybody was quite online when we started before. What's going on, y'all? It's B. Foster. B. Foster's in the building. Welcome to another episode of the ITZ Podcast. Thank you all for joining us on another Wednesday. That was the setup for the conversation today. I think Will and Jada have... Hold on, before you start huffing and puffing. I think they have set the tenor and tone for today that they might both have to find love after 40. So
after 60, really.
Whatever it's gonna be. So as always, I'm joined by my lovely co-hostess Chantel. What's going on, Sean?
Hello. Why we gotta talk about Jada?
I'm
sick of it already.
I just brought it up. I know that's been the hot topic for the day.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, but it is what it is.
But now we're here to talk about being in love.
Finding love after 40.
Old and in love.
Whoa. We are not going to have the old word thrown around.
Why not?
I don't
being
feel...
elderly and in love.
Whoa.
Being seasoned and in love.
Seasoned. I like seasoned.
Being vintage and in love.
Experienced and in love.
Okay.
So we're gonna have to dive into your story as well.
I gotta talk about me.
Cause you are newly in love and after 40.
It's been
so
over a year. Is that still new?
yeah, you still honeymooning a little bit.
No.
No?
I hit a milestone today. We are definitely not.
The honeymoon is over?
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
No,
anyway.
we're not talking about that.
So we've got a nice panel joining of us. We have a actual married couple that will come and talk about their experience, how they met, so on and so forth. And then we have two in the zone faves that you all have seen before on many a show that's going to talk about their experience as well. So let's bring them in. First, let me bring my boy E Young in the building. What's going on, E?
Uh-oh.
Nobody can hear me?
We got you, E. What's going on, brother?
All right. Hey, what's going on, y'all? What's happening in YouTube and in the building and everybody watching? I'm always amazed, man, that whenever you ask me to do this, that anybody wants to hear shit that I got to say.
Aww.
Eric, we love what you got to say, brother. You always got wise commentary. Not in sports, but other shit.
I figure sports is the only thing I'm really an expert at.
I love to have you back, brother. And then on the other end, we got my girl Nicole Gully in the building. What's going on, Nick?
Hello, little Asian man.
Here we go. God, off the bat.
Man, she ain't even been on the screen 10 seconds yet.
Right. Right. You know what that is? Love. What's going on, baby? How you doing?
I'm good. The Asian Chuck Woolery.
Mute her mic. Sick of her already. Cut her off. And tell your husband if he gonna shout from the kitchen, he might as well come on screen.
You know how he is.
I hear him giggling already though. Is he around? Where's he at?
He's not around right now.
Oh, okay.
He will be in 10 minutes.
Uh-huh. Tell him if I hear his voice in the background one time, I'm making him get on this damn camera. And then we have our married couple. They're not newlyweds. They've been married at least a year, maybe a little bit over. But one of my fave couples, the Robinsons. What's going on, Mel? What's going on, Monique?
What up, man? It's Roberson, long low.
Oh, sorry, Roberson. I'm sorry. My bad.
And I love that they have their last names up there together.
Why
Oh,
is
Not
listen.
getting confused.
Do y'all see my camera?
Oh, Mo, we can't see you, baby. Where you at?
Hold on.
Your camera not working.
Uh-oh.
As long as we can hear you.
No, her device is not connected.
Oh, your device
she
is not
has to
connected.
pop on and pop back in.
Yeah,
Yes,
pop
we give
in.
the permissions.
Yeah,
Yes.
pop out and pop back in, love. My fault. It is Roberson. My bad.
It's all good, bro.
And Mel has actually, Mel, real quick. We usually do this at the end, but while we're waiting on Mo to pop out again, tell your good news to our audience, brother. I'm excited for you.
Which good news, dog?
Well, excuse me, about the pod on. Is it on ABC?
Whoa!
Oh yeah, it's on WGN. So
GN, there
we did a television show. Well, I guess not really a television show, but a bit of a podcast type deal called Live from the Cave. It was a man cave talk show during the pandemic, and we recently got an opportunity to have it broadcast on WGN. So that starts on October 14th.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
That is dope.
The gentleman did bless me to have me on one time. I've not been invited back
didn't
since.
do
No, I'm
good?
kidding. I'm just kidding. Mel wasn't even there that day. He was in the airport eating pork rinds or some shit. But
One pork rinds. I guarantee you that.
he said what pork rinds? No doubt. But no, good news, brother. Happy for y'all.
Appreciate it.
Tune in. They do an amazing pod. I do appreciate their
The
conversation.
Man Cave Pod.
Man Cave pod.
Go follow them on IG. I assume you guys are on IG?
Yeah, it's on NDTV on IG. INDE TV. That's the company that produces it, and that's where everything will be at. I'll have it on my page too.
Awesome.
That's love. In the meantime, in between time, Sean,
Yes.
we are talking about finding love after 40. I think a lot of people, as the stats I put up on my page earlier, produced that people think it's difficult or there's a hurdle or that it's impossible to find love once you hit your 40s. I strongly disagree. I think most of our panel would. So I want to rebuke and refute some of these stats that are out in the world that say that finding love at a certain age is extremely difficult. And we're going to bring our guests in to tell their stories in a sec. But I want to start with you.
I hate this so much.
I know you do. I know you do.
I'm not here to talk about me.
All right. And, hey, producer, can we mute everybody's mics when the other folks are talking because we get a little bit of an echo?
They muted.
Appreciate you. So, tell me your story real fast. Real fast. I think a lot of
heard this story.
I think a lot of our folks have not.
Am I like telling the story?
Not the whole story, just an abbreviated version.
Okay, well, I've currently been in a relationship for over a year.
Woo!
I know. I think most of you guys know him. I'd like the first 6 months I wouldn't say his name. But Mr. Tony Wells.
Hold on, 1,500 people a week watch our fucking show. Yeah, they don't all know us, so.
Oh, my bad. So Mr. Tony Wells, I am in a relationship with him, and we're doing good. I mean, he is definitely over 40. He turned 50 this year, and I am over 40. I am 44. So we've been doing good.
How'd you meet?
I asked, did you want to hear that story?
I'm asking the questions I want to hear.
I'll try to give abbreviated version. So, as Brian likes to share, maybe a month after I joined the podcast, now, Mr. Wells never watched the show, but magically after a month of me being on the podcast, he was showing up in the comments.
Oh, he was a weekly tuner inner.
He says he did not watch it every week.
He's a damn bull-faced lie.
I do recall seeing him in the comments. But the short version is I was out last summer. I was out at a party. And he pulled up in his car, and I walked over to say something. I was actually working, so I was actually working. And then all of a sudden, I hear this voice that says, "Aren't you sick?" And I was like, "Nigga, who the fuck are you? Why do you know anything about me?" So that's how we met. And that night, according to him, I was supposed to stay at the party, but who the fuck does that? So he IM'd me later and was like, "You left?" And I was like, "Of course I left. I was over it. I was bored." And he insisted on hanging out with me, and I said, "Stranger danger, I don't know you."
This is not the abbreviated version.
I'm trying. No, it's a much longer story. I was like, I don't know you. You can't just come pick me up. So he ended up calling a Miss Jen Lee to tell her to tell me to go out with him, which she did.
Desperate
and then
ass
we
nigga.
and then we went out and hung out till 2:00 in the morning, and we have been together ever since.
Oh, an In the Zone podcast love story. I love it.
Don't be putting that on In the Zone.
I love it. Okay, I'm gonna own that until y'all break up. Then I don't want. Then I don't want no parts of it. Nicole, I want to hear your story, sweetie. How did you find love with your current mate?
I'm not gonna give the details, but basically, we just are a social media ghetto love story, and we work.
Wait, what? I can't give a story that short. I tried to give that short story. Somebody probe it.
Nicole got to get a story.
Hold on.
What do you mean you ain't?
Go ahead, Nicole. You got to fill in some blanks. Come on, sweetie.
Fill in blanks. It's very simple. We were over 40. Some ignorant. He liked it. Rolling. I don't know what else to say.
You did something ignorant on Facebook?
Yeah.
Like you cursed somebody out?
Story, so don't play dumb.
I don't actually.
No, she don't.
I don't.
Me and Eric know the story, but she didn't.
With Tony Wells, she know the story.
No, he's never told me this story.
Oh, yeah, he did, but that's another story. But yeah, so that's it, and we've been together 8 years, and we work.
All right, I love that. I love that. EY, tell me your story.
So my wife, we've known each other for 32 years. Met her at Illinois State, and we've been cool for all of this time. Through life's ups and downs, individually, and oh boy, it was probably 7 years ago now. We started dating each other, and here we are. We got married last year in October. We just celebrated our 1-year anniversary on Sunday. So the meeting is kind of anticlimactic because we've known each other for so long.
No, that's what's up. Happy anniversary, by the way. Congratulations. No, it is interesting. I'm curious as to, and the reason I asked this question is to see how folks connected, right? Like, was it somebody you knew forever? Was it somebody you met last week? Like, I'm just curious how these love connections happen after a certain point. We'll dive into that later. But I do want to bring the Robersons in, and I'd love for both of them to tell their story. I don't know I'm gonna see how marriage works. Who going first? I'm not even gonna say nothing.
Okay, well, first of all, can you see me? Am I back? Am I where I'm supposed to be?
We got you.
And you look adorable.
Okay, well, thank you, boo. Hey, girl.
Hey.
So we actually met in a forum just like this. We were invited to a Instagram interview from a mutual friend, and it was called Book Verses. It was your favorite books in entrepreneurship, spirituality, relationships, etc. And it was for authors, people who had also written books, and we were talking about our favorite books. And that's how Mel and I originally met, April of 21.
That's partially correct.
There we go. Tell the whole story, Mel.
Oh.
So originally we met, and she said she doesn't remember, but she went to high school with my little brother. Now there's a 4-year age difference, so it ain't like I was trying to mack her down when I was a sophomore in college and she was a sophomore in high school. But she was the manager for the basketball team at Whitney Young. My brother played on the team. I was always behind the bench. I was always with the guys. The whole team knew who I was. But ironically, she says, "Well, I don't remember you." We also
you were behind the bench. I mean,
yeah, loud as hell though.
But not often. He was away at college, so the games he came home to, and you'd have to understand back then I had a really important job. I was a scorekeeper and a manager of the team, so I was really all about my business, not my teammates' older brothers.
and so then we were friends in socials long time ago on a page that I don't even use anymore. So it was kind of a but not a knowing. And then when we did the book verses, that's when we were fully introduced as adults. And you want to tell the story from there?
So after so that was our internet version of meeting. That was about April. We became friends and had not hung out and met in person yet. When we did meet in person, it was June 19th. And we just went for a mini golf hangout. We were just friends. It wasn't intended to be a date, but I absolutely fell in love on the miniature golf course. The very first time we met.
Wait, unmute us now. I got a question.
That's so cute. I don't think we're muted.
No, you're not.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. My bad. Hold on. Let me get this straight. You went out and it wasn't intended to be a date. What was it? What were your intentions, Monique?
No, we literally just went to hang out.
It was on some chill stuff.
We were just going to hang out. He had put me in the friend zone, all kinds of things.
Oh, you
had it in the friend zone?
You put it in the friend zone?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, we were out at an event in Florida, and I was trying to hook her up with other people.
Okay.
So
she was in the friend zone.
So, okay. How does she get out of the friend zone? This only works with men. Once you're in a friend zone with a woman, that is it. How does she work her way out of the friend zone?
That is
agreed.
Oh, it is with me, but how did she work her way out of the friend zone?
You are not all women. I keep telling you this shit.
This is true.
Right. So basically what happened was she was with somebody. They ended up breaking up. I was dating somebody. We ended up not seeing each other. And at the end of the day, when they say the stars and the moon aligned and all of this other stuff, like we had a period of hanging out where we were just cool. But as she tells it, like when we stopped hanging out or when we weren't around each other, she felt like she was unplugged from that energy. And she basically came and said, listen, I know you're seeing somebody, but if you're not exclusive, I would like a shot. And what she didn't know is that young lady and I had since parted ways. And so we've been shooting ever since. She shot a shot. Y'all are muted. We can't hear you. Okay.
Yep. Okay, but hey, listen, Mo. That's what I've been telling these young ladies out here. Do not be afraid to shoot your shot.
I'm scared, but brava.
Absolutely not.
Brava.
Absolutely not. Yes, it was the best. It was the best, bravest thing I ever did.
Oh, that was.
Look at my rattler sister.
That is.
Love it.
That warmed my little
Did it-
cold
did it
dead
warm-
heart.
Yeah, your little, what's the movie? Your little, what's the little movie? The green movie?
The cold dead heart. Yes, my Grinch.
Your
Yes,
Grinch. That
yes.
was more your little Grinch.
Yes.
All right, so love that story. Love that story. Let me ask you this, and I'm gonna start with. Let me think about it. Well, we already got Mo and Mel on, so let's keep it going with them. Do you think it's easier or harder to date in your 40s?
I'll go first on that one. I think both. Okay, the part that I think is easier is that we're a little more clear about the dream of what we think a relationship is, and we understand a little bit more of the work. The harder part is that we are now jaded by those same experiences that gave us experience. So we've got, by this age, we got some people set in their ways, don't want to change. We got some people who are expecting the other person to have done all the work, make all the money, but then maybe they're not in position to have done their personal work. So I think it's a little bit of both. The good thing about dating at this age, though, I think, is that first marriages or starter marriages have happened. And people who know that they desire family are much more ready to do it right the second time around.
If you all didn't know, Mo is like a coach in all ways. So she gonna have some of these well-spoken answers.
She's very trained.
Mel, what you think, bro?
Well, Monique and I are the same person, but just
Exactly.
with different body parts. So like everything that she said is probably the exact same thing that I would have said. What I do think though is that at this age we cut to the chase a lot faster. We have the tough conversations a lot faster. I mean, we just jumped straight in and it's like, okay, boom, boom, boom. Here are the things that I want. Here's what I'm looking for. Here's where I am. Do you meet this criteria? If not, then we could part ways as friends. So for me, the whole speed dating aspect doesn't have to be, or didn't have to be at a speed dating event. It's like first date, we gonna talk about all this stuff and I'm gonna figure out from there if this is even worth pursuing.
Love it. Mel also, if you can't tell, is a very well-spoken brother. He knows his stuff.
I imagine his wife is also well-spoken,
That's
so
why they are attractive.
yes.
Absolutely. Let me bring Nicole. All right, Nicole. Now you can't be giving me these little short answers. Now let me hear you. Let me hear. Is dating easier after 40?
I would go with Mel that it can be a little bit of both. After 40, you're tired, you're focused. But I feel like men over 40 are delusional because.
Hold on,
Came
Nicole.
out shot
Hold on,
fired.
Nicole. You might have to get.
No.
Hold on, wait. Get a little closer to the mic because you fade in and out a little bit.
Okay. I would say not elegant like the other two. I'm about to go on and just get gutter with it.
That's why you're here.
I know. I find that men over 40 are delusional. They want virgins, still fine, who happy, who want to cater to them. They got diabetes, hypertension, prostate cancer, got about 4-5 kids. And you want a woman over 40 to still be who she was at 20 or 30?
Can we have her on every week?
No, it don't work like that.
I want her on every week.
May I jump back in here,
blunt.
please?
You
Wait,
win.
I'm not finished. Let me go. Let me finish mine. But I met somebody who knew what he wanted and ready, and then wasn't trying to change me. He accepted me for me, and I accepted him for him. I mean, I married a mirror. So, when it goes right, it goes right. Ooh, but when it goes left.
I can't argue that. Yes, you did. Good Lord, good Lord.
Wait, so this is an interesting question. Yeah, Nicole, were you married prior to your current marriage?
No, this is my first marriage, and I have no biological kids, and I'm an only child.
God bless his heart. God bless that man.
All right, E. Young, is it easier or harder to date?
I I guess.
Hold on, E, real fast before you answer that. Can we answer that first question that your frat asked? Were you married before?
Yeah, shit, twice.
You really like being married?
I mean, well, long stories, but I learned a little something, took a little something away from those other two. I think that have definitely impacted where I am now. But I really just have to echo what everybody else said. After 40, it was real easy to cut through the bullshit. Within a conversation or a date, you knew whether or not you wanted to do this anymore or keep going forward with a person like immediately. So that I think that was definitely a good part of it. Of course, you have the responsibilities as an older person, especially I'm an older person so I have 3 children, but my youngest one has always lived with me even when I was single. So, just carving out time to date wasn't easy. And there definitely wasn't women that I was bringing around my child. So it was strictly, I see you every other weekend or I don't see you at all. And I was hard about that. I was hard line about that. So that kind of thing, and putting that in with work and all those kinds of things, that made it a little difficult. But I didn't really date a whole lot, maybe a little bit between my marriage and my starting to date my wife. And so, it's hard for me to really say because I didn't really date a whole lot, but I do know one of the things that was a turn off from me dating was some of the things that I mentioned. And, I could recognize whether it was right for me or wrong for me pretty much within a conversation.
That's what's up. Sean, you have a daughter,
Mm-hmm.
And you were dating. I won't even say actively dating. You were dating.
Okay,
if something interesting came along, you would entertain it until it wasn't interesting anymore.
That is true.
So did you find it more difficult when you passed 40, or did you find it easier to suss out, as some of our guests have said, like, you know what? It only takes one time for this, that, and the other, where it might have taken you 16 dates when you were in your 20s?
I think they were both hard. But to the latter part of the question, I think dating is hard in your 20s because you don't know what you don't know. So you're trying to figure all that out, right? Like, what do I like? Is he on bullshit? Like we were talking, what were we talking about in the kitchen where you're like, does he really like me? If you have to ask the question, then the answer is no. Like, you have to go through all that learning to get to where you are in your 40s. Now, to Monique's point, all that learning makes you a little bit more rigid in your dating. And I've never been a very rigid dater, and I'm pretty much not now. Like, I want the very first times to be fun. I'm not trying to ask you what you do for a living. I don't care about your kids. I'm trying to have fun. But then you do get to a point where you have to start thinking about a kid. Like, is this somebody I want to have around my kid? What is that stepfather going to look like? Where is this going? Like, you do have all those things in the background that start driving the relationship. And if it's not the right person, that could make it difficult. Even if it is the right person, I think it still is a little difficult, right? Because it's causing you to have conversations that are uncomfortable. But if you can get through those, then you know that is the person you should be with. So
fair.
Yeah. But yeah, It sucks in your 20s and it sucks in your 40s.
It sucks no matter what.
Yeah, I don't think dating gets easy to you like near death.
Wow. I would disagree. I always enjoyed all my dating experiences, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. So let me ask this, and I'm gonna start with Nicole. And hold on, let me put my question back up. So, there are a lot of ways to meet people these days, right? You can be out in the world and meet them at a bar or a club, if you still, or lounge or whatever the case may be.
Don't nobody meet like that no more.
Wait a minute, I think that's still a thing. You can meet on a podcast where you meet right, or you can meet you can swipe left or right. I mean, you can meet at church. You can blah 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 blah. There's all these places you can meet. You can stalk Home Depot until you meet somebody. Whatever we figure out how to do it. But Nicole, do you think what are some of the ways you would advise or you think is best after a certain age, right? Meeting somebody at the club in your 20s or a bar is probably the regular way. When you get a little older, you move different, so you probably meet people different. What do you think are some of the best ways to meet folks when we hit this age?
If I really knew the answer, it wouldn't have been 45, 46 when I met
I know
somebody.
that's right.
So I can't tell you. I have nothing on that one.
I know that's right.
Get in the Facebook group with me, and you'll meet the man of your dreams.
And say something ratchet.
EY, what you think, brother? Man, I think people should turn over every stone, man. If you are, if you desire to have a relationship, then be intentional about it and go about it and go get it. People that, if you wanted a job, you would ask your friends, you would search the internet, you would go in the newspaper, you would, here, there, and the other, but people don't necessarily look at finding love with that same intensity, and I don't understand why, to be perfectly honest. So all of the above ways to find somebody and be intentional about seeking, love and relationship. I think a lot of people don't want the stigma of seeming desperate. But I think if they're honest with themselves and they're later in life and want to be loved, there probably is a certain amount of desperation. I know that word is going to sound terrible, so I hope people get the meaning and not get hung up on that word. But there is a certain amount of desperation. You only got so many days to wake up. So treat it like that. And if you are really searching for a relationship, then be active and seek.
I love, brother. See, you don't just know Steelers football. That's why I mess with you, man. Mel, what you think, man?
So yeah, to kind of piggyback off what he was saying, I don't even think there has to be desperation. What you do out of desperation becomes your mode of operation, but it's more of a desire type deal. And having that strong desire is totally okay. And people have to have a certain level of openness when it comes to it. Like, to his point, like, so many times we think that it has to be a certain way, or we have in our minds, when I meet this person, this, and this will happen, or I'll meet them in a particular fashion. You don't know where it's going to come from, but as long as you're open to it, and as long as you have that desire, and then you feel you deserve what you desire, I think that's a strong part of it too. Because a lot of people will say, well, I want this, but deep down in their hearts, they don't believe that they deserve it. And if you don't feel that you deserve it, you'll never get it. Now, to circle back to something Nicole said earlier about men being delusional, I think women are equally delusional, and that it's a human characteristic, not necessarily a male or female trait. Women want a 6-foot brother with a 6-pack that makes 6 figures, yet you sitting in bed with little Debbie crumbs on your titties because you're sitting there watching TV, while he's out at the gym. So that being considered, you have to look at it like, okay, if this is the type of person that I want, am I matching that type of energy where I should be able to get that type of person? And it goes both ways. It's a two-way street. So I think the desire has to be there, the deserving has to be there, and then putting in the equal energy to be able to say, okay, if this is the type of person that I want, I match that energy enough, or I meet the requirements to have somebody like that. You want a job that pays you $250,000 a year, but if you don't have the skills, you don't deserve the job. And it's the same in relationships. You have to have that certain set of characteristics in order to have what it is that you want if you match that energy.
Boy, if Kevin Samuels could have said that eloquently, he might not have been shot at as much.
He'd still be dead, though.
The other thing about Kevin Samuels is, he wasn't wrong in the stuff that he said, and he wasn't lying a lot of times, and he was hard on dudes too. I was my fraternity brother, so I just think that he sometimes served caviar on a garbage can lid. That's really what it was. It ain't what he said was lying. It's just like his presentation about it was horrible.
Don't do it. We're not having a conversation, Sean. That's not the point.
I said all I was going to do is I respectfully disagree.
That's not the point of this. That's not the point of the show.
It's
Look,
okay.
It's fine that people like Kevin Samuels.
I didn't even say we liked him. We just saying
Or
what he said
agreed
wasn't
with him.
wrong all the time.
He's a
No,
mathematician.
a broken clock is right twice
No,
a
we're
day,
not
so
saying don't do
nobody's
that.
wrong all the time.
Don't give me that.
Well, I'm just saying.
Anyway, Mo, what you think? To the original question, is it harder or easier?
No, do you hate Kevin Samuels? No, I'm just kidding.
Yes. Okay. Girl power. Wait. Did I answer that question? Is it harder or easier?
I
Is that the
thought
question
I didn't think I came. Did I? Maybe I started with you. That could be.
Oh, no, we moved on to a different question.
Oh, what did I
You
ask?
was on a different question.
What did I ask?
It was the where and the how.
Oh,
Where and
I'm
how.
sorry.
Yes.
That's right. I'm sorry. My bad.
Okay. Yeah, I think, I was going to say openness, which Mel said, and I think he nailed all the points that would be relevant to me as well. I think that Ihan said the intention, right? He said intention. You have to be intentional about dating. And I think that is the biggest key. We are we say we want it, but then we are turned off, and it's on or off. And that energy attracts a particular thing. And so sometimes a woman will say, well, I'm going out and nobody talked to me. But you were not open enough to be talked to. Or you were out, but you were not friendly looking, or you were not open to engage. Or you weren't making eye contact with others. So you may not know who might have been interested or looking or giving you some energy. So I think that we need to be, if you're interested and intentional about dating, that you have to open yourself up enough to make it, allow the connection to take.
And occasionally you got to shoot your shot.
And you know how I feel about that. You absolutely have to shoot. But here's the thing. There was no thing that he did that made me know it was worth shooting my shot. What I knew that I was looking for a particular kind of energy of a person. And when I found it, that's what I fell in love with immediately. The rest of it was, let me figure out if you're the person, but you absolutely have the energy of a connection that was very similar to mine. And everybody might not be looking for themselves, because that old adage, opposites attract, works for somebody. But for Mel and I, what we found was that it's so much easier to spend time with your best friend and do things when y'all actually like the same things, when you do the same things, instead of spending half your life trying to convince the other person to be like you or try to figure out the other person. That also takes up a lot of time in the dating process.
Nicole fell in love because they both stab a motherfucker.
Well, goddamn.
They didn't even have to question that. But like, what'd he say? I'll stab his ass. Me too, baby. Just for you.
That was in their marriage.
And that is why Michael always says God put us together when we were older. Because if it was younger, we'd be writing each other from the penitentiary.
And you'd have to know Nicole and Michael to know that is 100% correct. Sha.
So I hate to go against the grain. That's a lie. I love going against the grain. So what I found for myself, right, when I was focusing on it, that didn't work for me. But when I did start focusing on Chantel, when I started focusing on doing the things I wanted to do, looking the way I wanted to look, working out, doing things that I enjoyed. And I'm going to say the things that people kept telling me that I really hate doing. Fun fact, I'm a deep introvert. But the year that I met Tony, I was being very extroverted that year. I was everywhere. There was very few places you did not see me.
Them streets.
I was everywhere. And I think that's part of those two things combined, because I was self-improving. I was open. I think that's also a really important part, right? You have to be open to meeting people. And because there were a lot of places people could see me and interact with me, that year I did date a lot. There were a couple of people who were contenders. The cream rose to the top. Shout out Tony Wells.
Come on, T. Wells.
Yeah, it was proximity, the fact that I was out. Plus I was just enjoying being out, enjoying being me and being okay with that. And I don't think I had that prior to my 40s, if I'm being totally honest. So I think that's why he appeared, or at least found me on the interwebs.
But even being on
I totally agree with that.
Yeah, but even being on this show, being willing to co-host with me, right, puts you in a space where to be seen, where people could see you and feel your energy and see who you are,
and see my personality, right? Which I always ask him, like, you saw my personality, you still want to date me? You'd have to know him to know why that's weird, but
facts. All right, Sean, is it on me? I'm running this show.
Yes, I'm one of the guests. I'm being questioned.
No doubt. So let me ask this: we've got everybody here, save for Sean, who's only been together maybe a year or so, is married. But we just did a show last week about, is marriage even beneficial for men? And we did a show a year ago, is marriage beneficial for women? So we're not even going to separate the two. What I'm asking is, at this age, a lot of people say, I can have a significant other, and we don't need all that legal formality. We don't need to go to the wedding chapel. We don't need all these bells and whistles and extra stuff. We can just be together, and I don't need all the other trappings that come with it. My curiosity, and I'm going to start with Sean because she's sitting next to me, and then we'll circle around, is marriage even really a necessity in the 40s, and what are the benefits or negatives around it?
Okay, so the first question, I think that is a very individual question.
Of course.
I when you say need, I guess my answer would be no. Maybe you have enough life experience to know that you can have what equates to a marriage without going through the process, right? There are tons of people who are life partners. Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell, they're partners forever, and I think you would be hard pressed to find anybody who wouldn't say,
are they still together?
Yes.
Okay.
Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell, yes, they gonna die together.
That's what's up.
So I think in your 40s you realize you don't have to do that. That doesn't mean you don't want to. I think that maybe that's what the difference is in your 40s. Okay. You understand that that's not a necessity. Mm-hmm. But you understand that's the process you want to go through, and you're okay with going through that process versus feeling like it needs to, like it solidifies your relationship. It needs to happen. Perhaps that's the difference. What was the second part of the question? I'm sorry.
Do you want to get married?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Now ask him, does he want to get married?
I will not ask him that. Eric, as a 3-time married gentleman, obviously you find a comfort, a need, a want, whatever the case may be, in the institution of marriage.
Not necessarily that.
Okay, well, yeah, holla at me.
But the story of my first 2 marriages is so convoluted that it would have to be its own show with just me as a guest in order to understand all the ins and outs of that. So we'll
see you next week.
Well, don't think we won't have. Don't think that won't happen.
So let's remove those, and let's just say I absolutely believe that. Okay, I understand the ideology of, well, it doesn't solidify our relationship and it doesn't make us something necessarily. No, my wife and I did not get stronger in love than once we walked down the aisle. But marriage is very much a business arrangement. Like, don't be no fool. I have things that I am going to be leaving when I die, and I need someone to take care of that and to take care of my children. Myself and my wife, we have built a what do you call it? We have built a. I won't go so far as to say a kingdom together, but we are stronger financially. We are better together. Even when we were just living together before the marriage, I mean, if either one of us would have died during that point, what would have happened? You know, where would her finances have gone? Where would my finances have gone? They sure wouldn't have gone to further our kids' education. It would have been a hassle. Marriage allows for those types of things to take place in a business type arrangement.
So you're talking about like estate planning and
all of those types of wills. She is the the conservator or whatever of all of my finances. So
executor.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So those kinds of things. I mean, if you just land up every day and every night with somebody, you know, what are you really doing? you're playing house for a while, but what are you really? I just don't. I guess I don't really understand the mindset when people say we don't need a piece of paper to make our relationship. Yeah, it's true. You don't need that, but if you acting like you married, why don't you have a piece of paper? Because that at least will allow for in the untimely passing. That at least makes you guys legal and able to speak up for each other in legal times. And when you getting over 40 and 50, play the fool if you want to, like you got forever. You don't. So yeah, those kinds of decisions need to start being made seriously. And to marry for love, that Cinderella shit we left in our 20s, I thought. At this point, we should be looking more of it as a business and organizational type of situation.
Eric want an LLC when he get married.
I
feel you.
You don't feel like you can do any of that sans the marriage? Like you can do estate planning and life insurance, as Chris Levy has pointed out, and all of those contractual things. You can do that.
Okay, so what are you going to do when you go and do that? You're going to go sign you and that person's name to a document. What is a marriage license?
No, I'm not disagreeing with that. All I'm saying is you can have all of those markers without walking down the aisle. That is a possibility.
Then why wouldn't you?
I already said I want to get married. You ain't got to jump down my throat. I'm just saying.
I'm not coming directly at you. I'm just saying if you are willing to do all of those things with this person. Yeah, I mean, if you just want to, you can just put stuff in your mama's name, right? And then not worry about it. But if you're going to do all of these things with this person, a marriage license is just another legal document.
Yeah. I get it.
You know, the wedding and all that, we sometimes we confuse with a wedding and a marriage. And it's unfortunate that we do that because they're very different things.
Facts.
That's very true. The shout out to Eric Young.
I'm gonna bring Monique back in this because she was pointing and snapping a little bit. Come on, Mo.
She felt all that in her soul.
I did.
At least that last part.
I did. No, I definitely agree. However, we went through the variety. I agree with Eric in a lot of what he said. We went through the variety of options though, because we were looking at is civil union better? Is marriage better? Do we need to do this at all? What's the time frame? For us, we got married 1 year later from that miniature golf outing at that miniature golf course. So we got married what some might consider pretty fast. But we were sure that we were building a thing. And the Monique Spence, Mel Roberson brand did not have the empire power that the Robersons have. So for us, it became a totality of, there's tax benefits and things like that are, part of the legal process. One of the things that really changed and kind of shook the foundation for me, though, Mel was rear-ended in March of 22 and was fine at the time of the accident. And a few hours later, was not well and was showing signs of a concussion. We didn't know it was a concussion at the time, but had a concussion. And I could not do anything at the hospital. And it was a very sobering moment for me that I was his person. I was the person to call his parents, call his brother. I was the person that got him there. I was going to be the person he was going home with that night. But there was nothing that those people at the hospital would tell me because my last name was different. And so it made me it made me very keenly aware of how the country views marriage and what is very important about having the same last name as your spouse, or at least able to prove that you are married to someone.
Yeah, and I also want to put Two's comment up. What's up, Two? Just put comment up there as a thought starter. But yeah, that's exactly right. When you don't have the legal right or responsibility to do some things for somebody you love, it changes your paradigm or the thought process around how you can move. I'll bring Mel in last on this one. Nicole, what are your thoughts?
Be honest, it depends on the day of the week. Because the thing is, when you are the person that doesn't have kids and you are marrying someone with kids, the dynamic is different. It's accepting everything, the kids, the parent, the other parent or parents, their household. You want to make sure your household is on the same page with their household. And if the adults in the situation cannot play nice together, it's not going to be good for the kids. And people have to be honest about that. When you're used to just being able to get up and go, and now you can't because we have little people dependent on us, and you're not used to that, that's a lifestyle adjustment. And you have to be honest with yourself and say, can you do that? But I can't imagine doing life without being married to Michael Gully, especially being on this caregiver journey with my mother. He's about the only person in the world I know that can go through this with me. So that's the biggest benefit for me, because I married my best friend and person who really rides or die for me, and vice versa.
That's what's up.
I got a question.
Do it.
I already know what Eric's answer is going to be.
Wait, hold on. We didn't get mail though.
Oh, sorry.
All good. Yeah, my answer. Yeah. It depends on who the person is or who the people are and how they really feel about the institution of marriage, what they believe it takes to be married. I mean, at one point in time, depending on where you were in the world, you stood in front of somebody, they tied ribbon around both y'all hands, and you said some words, and that was it. It wasn't a whole bunch of legal stuff. Slaves used to jump a broom and they were married. You know what I mean? So it just kind of depends on what your ideologies are around marriage. And when Monique and I were looking into it, part of my thing is, how much do I want the government in my stuff? In America, the way marriage has been institutionalized and legalized and all that. And to go back to something that E. Young was saying, well, if you would do all of these things with a person, why wouldn't you get married? Because businesses are somewhat easier to dissolve than a marriage is. So if two people had made the decision, well, we want to be each other's person, and legally, you're my power of attorney, financially, healthcare power of attorney, executor of my estate, and all of that other stuff. If indeed you want to go your separate ways, it's easier to dissolve that and get new paperwork than it is to go through divorce proceedings, et cetera, et cetera. So there are pros and cons to each of the two answers, depending on who the people are, what it is that they want or desire, and how they feel that they could go about doing it in a way that is acceptable to both of them. There are plenty of people that get married that don't change their last name. And when they go to the hospital, they don't have a marriage certificate in their back pocket, and they just say, that's my husband or that's my wife. And I don't know if hospitals really check or whatever. And in Monique's situation, though, I could only imagine how she felt not being able to communicate on my behalf or even get information while I'm back there, not knowing if I had a stroke or not, or an aneurysm or any of those things. So, again, I think everybody kind of said it the same way. It depends on who it is, what you want, how you feel about marriage, or how you feel about civil unions. And ultimately, do people keep their words? There are a whole bunch of married people that are just married on paper, and it ain't nothing else. So some people say, well, why wouldn't you get married? Well, because he's sort of an asshole. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, she might not be responsible enough or whatever. Or people, I think in our society today, a lot of people are more concerned about the wedding than they are the marriage. So we see all these people that put out all of this money, and it's this big thing, it's this hoopla and all of this other stuff. And then after they get married, it's like, man, what they didn't even know what they were getting into. Or now that the wedding is over, they feel like that was the climax of their relationship, as opposed to what are we doing after we exchange these vows, and what type of life are we building from here on out. So it just depends on who it is and what they want.
Can I say something to that?
Absolutely, bro.
I'm not in disagreement with the brother. I'm just my point is, since we're specifically talking about over 40, I would hope that at over 40, we are thinking about those types of things, and before we even walk down the aisle, we should. I would hope, we've learned those lessons in our 20s and 30s, and so we have a more pragmatic and practical approach as we're older.
Eric, if that was really true, would you be on marriage number 3 after 40?
My second marriage was I was still in my 30s.
Marriage number 3 after 40.
Yeah.
So if it really was that simple and that easy, you wouldn't be on marriage number 3 after 40.
Well,
That's my whole point.
I guess what I'm trying to answer is I wouldn't have, had I been over 40 and known what I know now, I wouldn't have entered those other 2. So I entered the second one under 40. So I know stuff now that I didn't. I was still looking at Cinderella and love and oh, she's so cute and all of that kind of stuff then, where now I'm very much, when I married, I can honestly say that my current wife honestly got the best version of me, because of all the lessons. And I don't say that every lesson was necessarily a mistake, because I wasn't, every bit of my life wasn't horrible. Made some good decisions too. But I think
Time out.
Go ahead.
I have to.
Oh, Nicole took over the goddamn show. Oh,
Damn, Javen.
shit. Come on, hold on. You get one more question, Nicole, then we got to move.
Go ahead.
Comment that your wife is getting the best version of you. I feel like that is bullshit. In some areas, she's getting the best version of you, but who you were 20 years ago is not who you are now physically.
Oh, well, I mean,
mentally. So that's some bullshit that she's getting the best version of you. She's getting aspects.
I think if you broke my being down to only my physical, you are absolutely correct.
I'm not just breaking your being down to your physical. I'm not just doing that. You all minimize when you get married after 40, so much life you had before that.
No, I get what you're saying, but the thing,
some of that life beats you down. So some of that joy, that hope, that glee that you had before 40, life you don't have now.
Yeah, I think that depends on the individual. Yeah. I'm more joyous now at 47 than I was at 37 or 27.
Me too.
Like my joy is overflowing.
I had a lot of physical energy in my 20s, but I was out chasing other women a lot of times, right? And so that just because I have less physical energy, she is getting my best mental self, which is, I mean, and like the brother said, I'm way happier as a person now that I am fully comfortable, fully financial. I have fully stepped into my manhood at this point, and I'm much happier like that.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I love it. Hey, listen, I love when my guests start talking to each other. I can step back and just.
I think to Eric's point, I think we all would say, well, yes, physically, most of us are not as felt. I think psychologically, emotionally, financially, we are the best. Except you, Brian, you're the best ever. But we are the best version of ourselves at this point in time, and I assume we'll all get better and better until we old and die.
I would hope.
But I would think all of us feel that way about ourselves. I know I definitely share that opinion as Eric. This is the best version of me that anybody could have gotten.
Yeah, I agree.
Who would hope? Let me ask this. Let's switch gears because we're not quite running on time, but we get close to time.
Just gonna dance all over my question. It's fine. Never mind.
No. Oh, sorry. You did have a question. I'm sorry. Go ahead. My bad.
My question is a tad bit messy. Now, let me be clear. I want everybody to stay married until.
Oh shit! I ain't answering this.
They are no longer on the earth, right?
Here we go.
I already know Eric's
out. Eric's out.
Warning.
Eric's
but no, seriously, we have gone through our 40s and found love. If something happens where in the 50s or 60s you have to do this again, Monique, are you doing it again?
Ooh.
No shade to Mel.
No.
Lovely human being.
If Mel stepped out on the curb tomorrow and happened to get hit by a bus, just luck wasn't on his side.
I gave them 20 years.
I said tomorrow. I'm sorry. 10 years from now.
Stay off the curb. Don't be near buses. But so first, let me say I focus much of my energy and attention on happy and healthy in our hundreds
Absolutely.
Together. Okay. Would I be open to try again? Yes. I don't want to take his answer, but I think that a large part of this is choice. Choose to love. Choose to be open to love. And though whoever he is will have huge shoes to fill, I believe that it would be worth having companionship to be open to find love again. So it would take me some time, but I would say yes. I would try again.
All right. Mel, same question. 10, 20 years from now?
Yeah, so it would have to be because something tragic happened to her. You know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't be because we broke up. Because I already told her, you can leave me, but I'm going with you. So
I know that's right.
You know what I'm saying? It would have to be because she's no longer here. I don't know what that healing process is gonna look like. And so I can't say for sure that I would. And if I did, like she said, there would be some huge shoes to fill. But I mean, prime example, we have a friend right now who lost her fiance, her person, and she just turned 50. And, you know, it took her a couple of years before she could even consider dating again because they had plans, you know. So, I mean, knowing what I know and who I am and what I teach other people, and I know a lot of times it's easier said than done. Once I went through my healing process, for the sake of companionship, I probably would, just so I wouldn't be in my own head about her for the rest of my life. But what we had would be irreplaceable. So I'm not necessarily looking to replace her. I'm just looking for something different so that I can have companionship for the rest of my days. We had this conversation the other night about it. You know, we had a friend that, and it, you know, I ain't trying to spook nobody out depending on what your spiritual beliefs are and all of this other stuff. But we had a friend that went to see a medium and, you know, had some people from the spiritual realm come and talk to her. And Monique was like, would you come talk to me if I did, like, if I felt I needed that to talk to you or whatever. And I was like, yeah, you know, I would come talk to you, and I would even tell you that it's okay to be with somebody else. But in my pettiness, I would whisper to you during sex and make you say my name instead of his. Just because I'm that petty.
That is exactly what
I'm not mad at that at all.
I actually cannot be mad at
I'm not mad at that.
I cannot be mad at that.
I may take that one too, Mel. That was good.
Go ahead. Just give me credit. The first 3 times you say it, after that, it's yours.
Got you. All right, Nicole. 10, 20 years from now, would you do it again?
Fuck no. I'm never changing my name again. And if my husband go to glory, if I go to glory before my husband, he cannot fall in love again. I will haunt him. We are very clear on that.
What damn?
He may try Bobby Brown and move on, and I'm Whitney, and no, it ain't happening. This is it. I waited this long. We are good.
Ooh, you are funny, Nicole.
Hold on, this is crazy. That's accurate as shit.
That's exactly that conversation.
I mean, if she said anything else, I would have called her a bull-faced liar.
So, E, I'm going to assume 10, 20 years from now, you're going to be on number 4. You can't stop. You got to keep going.
Well, the funny thing is I never thought I would do 3.
Who does?
So I really don't. It was just when like we didn't get it all into my story, but it was my kids who said that I should pursue this relationship. I wasn't even looking at the time, but I don't know. I honestly just have to say it would depend on where my head was and what was going on at the time, to be honest. And so I won't say yes, no, either way or another, because I could end up being alive depending on no matter what I said. So it would really just depend on where I am when I was 70, 80, or whatever age that was.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Fair enough. Let me ask this last question, because Eric just brought up kids, by the way. So I wanna wrap up on this one, and then we'll have some final thoughts as we close out. We are all of a certain age and have kids, don't have kids, whatever the case may be. When you reach when you reach a certain stage in life, a certain age, and I'll say 40 plus, 'cause that's the point of this conversation. Are kids on the table? Should they be? Would they be? No matter, if you got 6, if you got none, should it be a thing that we should even be considering? And I know that's relationship dependent, but in generalities, is that crazy? Even have a conversation about when you were this age? And Eric, we stopped with you, so I'm gonna start with you.
So I would love to have a little, round faced chocolate baby with my current wife. I had 3, she had none. So I would love to, and we've discussed it kind of in joking, but she's, in her later 40s, and it's an absolute no for her. She's not even interested. She's cool raising the ones and the grandkids we have, and in the future, she's cool with that. So it's not in our cards.
Fair enough.
I hate to.
What did you say after 50? What?
We shooting dust.
Brad is stupid. Nicole, what you think?
Initially, I thought, oh, yeah. And then 3 years in, I was like, hell no. Because our kid will be the dumbest kid because we don't know this new math. And the kid will be cussing every day. Hell no. No. And it's funny because I work at Morehouse, and it's a young man I met. And my coworker even agreed, if you and Michael had a kid, it would be this kid. He is, I look at him every time like, damn, this is what it'd be like if we procreated. He's smart and angry. Oh my God.
But in general, outside of your specific situation, do you think it makes sense or not to start breeding after 40?
Individual choice, because parenthood, and when you're raising your kids, it's a lot of work. And if you have a career and you're balancing, that's the other thing, when you get married late too, you want time to be a married couple before you have kids. You won't get that opportunity if you marry late. You rush right into everything. And I think that can be a bit overwhelming. So, but I think it's an individual choice.
Absolutely. Mel, what you think?
I already got 2. And nope.
Good answer.
And, I mean, well, the other thing too, and I'm sure Mo will speak to this, like the way our lives are set up, our get up and go is got up and went whenever we want to. So for us personally, it didn't make sense. But the other part of that too, I mean, for people in their 40s, to Nicole's point, like that energy ain't the same. We're not doing all the things that we used to do in our younger years. And I started graying prematurely anyway. Like I started graying when I was 12. I'm not trying to have a kid. I'm 47 now. So that means 18 years from now will be when their high school graduation is. And I don't want them talking about, oh, your granddad came to your graduation. You know what I mean? Because I look like a granddad at that point. I'm granddaddy age at that point. So I'm good. I'm good.
I hear that. Mel? I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Mo.
Mo, same thing. I married into motherhood and his youngest daughter is 20. This is like perfect. She's 21 now. We can drink together and kick it. I'm gonna say no for me for sure. My best birth control comes at the airport though, because we do like to travel so much. We're gone a few times a month, and I'm always seeing this mom pushing this stroller, and her kids is throwing shit out of the stroller, and she's trying to go back and pick up the shit and hold the kid, and she got one in a diaper bag and a suitcase, and that's not my life. So no for us for sure. But I think that at this age, we in some ways are more patient. But that time thing to really get into living these seasoned, to go back to the beginning, these seasoned years, I don't know that they made for new parents. God bless those that do it, but it's not my season. So I don't have any biological children, and I'm okay with that.
That's what's up. Sean?
What's the question again?
After 40, kids work for you? Should it work for anybody else? I know, and again, we know it's an individual choice, but
okay. With that caveat, if you don't have kids, I understand you trying to have children, right? I get that. If you have kids, I have no idea why you would even consider that ever. My baby is 10. His baby is 24. We're good. He's a lovely faux stepdaddy. I love seeing it. I think that's as close as we want to get to having any babies, is watching him pick her up from school and play video games with her. That's as close as we need to get. But yeah, no, we're good.
Fair enough. So as we wrap up this show, one, let me first of all thank all of my guests for coming on, being so open and honest as always, and as articulate as they are. All of you all. Appreciate you. This is why we invited you. But I do want to have a final thought and go around the room and let everybody say, dating, finding love after 40, is it possible? How's it work? Can it work? Like, just whatever you think around it. I want to give you your opportunity to speak on it. Nicole, I'm going to let you start first.
Yes, it's possible. I think it's amazing. Okay, my gummy done kicked in. So
here we go. Shit, I'm glad it's the end of the show. I am glad it is the end of the show.
Yes. So, yeah, it's possible. That's all I got right now.
Done. We cut her mic. Mo, what you think?
Yes, I say it's worth it. It's possible. And if I could just add this to any singles conversation y'all gonna have, if you let side pieces go and people that ain't supposed to be together go ahead and let each other go and leave history's sake alone, I think that people over 40 could have a new deck. And if we shuffle the deck on what we really want, I think people could actually find their person. But so many people are caught up in situationships and holding on because of history that those people that need to be single are not single soon enough. But that said, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth being vulnerable enough to put yourself out to find it, because being stuck in the alternative of being set in your ways and saying what you're not going to do will have you lonely and alone.
All right. Love it. Mel, what you think, bro?
If you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Period. Like, whatever you believe to be true for yourself and possible definitely can manifest itself. You just have to stick with it and understand that it may not come in the packaging that you think it's going to come in and the way that you think it's going to come. It just might look totally different, but you have to be open to it and understand that delays are not denials. So just because it doesn't come in a timely fashion, sometimes you need to learn those lessons to know, okay, I'd rather mess this up with somebody that I don't care about with than messing this up with somebody I'm falling in love with. Or there's some things that I need to learn about myself, and this is what I got from this relationship. That doesn't mean that because this one failed, I can't move on to the next one. This was just a lesson that I needed to learn so that I could become a better version of myself for the next relationship. So I'm thankful for all of my exes because they helped develop me to who I am today for my wife. Good, bad, or indifferent. I'm thankful for all of the experiences, even the ones that were heartbreak, because they were necessary in order for me to learn those things to become a better person. And so, yeah, if you think you can, you're right. If you think you can't, you're right. But really figure out what it is that you desire and know that you deserve it. Work on yourself until you get it.
Oh, and if I could add one more thing, all of that, what he said, but also at this age, if you're really serious about dating, don't date a new person treating them like as if they've done all the things that your exes have done. Because a lot of new relationships start with, I'm not going to let him do this. He ain't going, but he's not even in position, or he don't even know nothing about the game that your ex did or anything to you. But we treat new people with our old baggage, and we have got to stop doing that, because the older we get, the more baggage we have.
Music Soul Child has a song that says, "I'm not to blame for the pain that was caused by previous cats."
Yes.
So that is so true.
If y'all can't see why these two are together, I swear to God.
They're the same person. It's weird.
I swear to God. EY, what you think, brother?
All right, so in order for me to answer this question, I'm gonna answer it in two ways. First, the negative, and then the positive. I think the negative is just in reality. I think growing old alone and dying alone is such a depressing reality to me. Just a depressing thought, right? So that's the negative part, and I'm gonna leave that alone there, just to leave leave people with something to think about. But secondly, over 40, if people spent their first 40 years really working on themselves and really getting to know themselves and really being introspective about who they are and what they want out of life, and spend that time really being self-aware and looking in the mirror, then by your 40s, if you have two people who have done that, like you really mentally, anyway, Nicole, get two people who are the best of themselves to live out the rest of their days. And me and my wife always talk about sitting on our back porch, old and not, being able to, when we won't have, neither one of us will have any of our physical faculties, but we will have the laughter that we have gained. And of course, we have the experience of having known each other for 30 years. So by then it'll be, 60 years of us knowing each other. It'll just be so many memories, so much history and things we'll be able to sit back, and grandkids will be there, and, all of that kind of stuff we really, really look forward to. So absolutely. Over 40, yeah.
That's what's up. Jean?
The question is, say that one
No,
more time.
final thoughts about finding love after 40. Is it possible? Is it realistic? Is it doable? Is it what people should be striving for? Anything you want to close?
I don't know if that's what people should be striving for, but yes to all three. I mean, to piggyback off of Mo and Mel, right? I do think people hyper focus on narratives about the opposite gender, right? We focus on spending $100 on a date, or does he open a door? We focus on all these things that really just, in the grand scheme of a relationship, don't really matter, right? What you should focus on are the things that you need. You should be at an age now where you know what things you need in a relationship, and just focus on that. And I'm a big believer when dating you want to date with intention, yes, but have some fun first. Have some fun first. Enjoy it. Like, it doesn't have to be work. It doesn't have to be painful and stressful. It legitimately just can be fun. And then figure out who they are, and if that's a match, then enjoy that instead of all this other bullshit that we read on Facebook constantly. Like, don't give a fuck if you spend $300 on a date. I promise you no one cares.
Some people care. But
clearly.
Some people care. And you aged yourself with a Facebook comment. But I love that for you. First of all, again, I want to thank everybody for coming and giving these amazing thoughts. That I love when my guests summarize things so well that I don't even really have a lot to say, and you all have done that. But I will say that there's a lot of conversation on the social media streets about pee in the pool, and you can't, dating pool, and you can't find anybody after 30, much less 40. And I really think you can. I really think, as our guests have already said, you got to work on yourself. You got to focus on what's important to you. Sean said, have a little bit of fun. Don't take dating so seriously. But
At first.
But when it's intentional, be intentional. And don't be afraid, as scary as it is, to put yourself out there and let somebody see the real you and what you really want and what you really intend. Because if you do all that fronting up first, then it's hard to backtrack everything after that, right? Now you've already put your representative out there who ain't the real you, and it's hard for anybody to trust or know who you are after that. So, hey, love is possible after 40, as all of us can attest to. Do not think it's not. Do not cut yourself off from the world. Be open, be honest, and let yourself have a little fun and see what happens. That's the end of the show, y'all. Appreciate you tuning in. Love you for watching always and every time. We'll be back next week, 7:15 Central Time, Wednesday. See you then. Peace.